This story centers around me 45F and my daughter, Chloe 19F, and a recent conflict that has deeply affected our relationship. To give some context, I had Chloe when I was 26 with my now ex-husband, Stan. We met in college, got married, and had a comfortable life as Stan came from a business family. His mother passed away from cancer when he was young, so his father, Mark, 65, raised him alone. Mark always treated me like his own daughter, and even stood up for me against his family on several occasions. This solidified a close bond between us. However, my relationship with Stan deteriorated when Chloe was about 3. We were on the brink of divorce, but Mark stepped in and encouraged us to go through marriage counseling. Although it helped us stay together, the marriage felt strained and fake. We continued to stay married for Chloe's sake, providing her with a stable home where she felt loved, even if Stan and I no longer loved each other. Over the years, Stan became more engrossed in his family's business while I worked as a graphic designer. By the time Chloe was 17, our marriage took a significant turn when Stan revealed he'd been having a 5-year affair with his secretary, a woman who had been with our family for almost a decade. This felt like an intense betrayal, and it stirred up tension between everyone, including Mark, who almost disinherited Stan for his reckless behavior. I decided to finally divorce Stan after the affair, feeling too exhausted to keep up the charade of our marriage. Chloe, by then in her late teens, didn't say much, but she was undoubtedly impacted. She spent her time mostly at Stan's house, which was closer to her school, even though he was now living with his girlfriend, the former secretary. I tried to make her feel as comfortable as possible and avoid conflict with Stan whenever I could. Chloe was determined to follow in her father's footsteps and join the family business. Mark, who always saw potential in her, secretly told me that he planned to open a new company under Chloe's name and hand it to her after she graduated from college. She worked hard to get into a good business school but didn't qualify for scholarships or financial aid. Chloe expected Stan and me to cover her tuition, and I had already committed to paying half while expecting Stan to pay the other half. However, things started to change during her final year of high school. Stan's girlfriend became pregnant, and it became apparent that his financial priorities were shifting towards his new family. Chloe, aware of this, came to me and practically begged me to find a way to pay her full tuition. I suggested that she consider taking out a student loan, given that I couldn't afford to cover it all myself. This upset her, and she left angrily. Not long after, Chloe approached me excitedly with a necklace she had found in the attic. It was a family heirloom, a blue sapphire necklace passed down from my great-great-grandmother. The necklace had immense sentimental value to me, and I always saw it as something Chloe would inherit one day. However, she suggested I sell it to cover her college fees. Her suggestion shocked me, especially since it wasn't absolutely necessary, and I firmly told her I wasn't willing to sell the necklace. This upset her, and she packed her things to go live with her father. As Chloe's graduation approached, I noticed I hadn't received an invitation to the ceremony, only an invite to the afterparty at Stan's house. Chloe later informed me that the school allowed only one parent, and she chose to take her father. Though it hurt, I accepted it, only to see later on social media that Chloe had posted pictures of herself with Stan and his girlfriend at her graduation. At the afterparty, Mark noticed my disappointment and tried to console me, but I brushed it off. However, during Chloe's graduation speech, she thanked Stan and his girlfriend profusely, even calling her Lucky Charm, but never mentioned me. I was heartbroken. Mark confronted Chloe about this, and they had a heated argument. Chloe later accused me of tattling to Mark and blamed me for ruining her special day. Despite my insistence that I hadn't spoken to him about it, she wasn't willing to listen. Later that night, Chloe called me in tears and asked me to come over to Stan's house. I found Mark there, furious after learning that Chloe had asked him for financial help or to convince me to pay her full tuition. Mark was disappointed, both in Chloe and Stan, for attempting to manipulate the situation. He revealed that he had planned to gift Chloe a company upon her graduation but proceeded to tear up the papers in front of all of us, saying that she didn't deserve to be spoiled when she was acting so entitled. This left Chloe devastated, and she begged Mark to reconsider, but he walked out, asking me not to give her the money I had saved for her tuition. Chloe then turned to me, pleading with me to convince Mark to give her the company back. Stan and his girlfriend, meanwhile, blamed me for the entire situation. Overwhelmed, I left the house, unsure of what to do. The next day, I spoke to Mark over dinner about everything that had transpired. Mark made it clear that he wasn't willing to help Chloe financially, as he believed she needed to face the consequences of her actions. He encouraged me not to give in to her demands either, warning me that if I did, I shouldn't be surprised if Chloe eventually abandoned me for her new family. Mark reassured me that I wasn't at fault for the situation and left me to make my own decision. Chloe, however, continued to push boundaries. She called me again, furious that Mark had refused to give her the company, and blamed me for everything that had gone wrong. Things got so bad during the call that Stan had to intervene and take the phone from her to calm her down. I began to rethink my decision to contribute to her college fees, feeling guilty about not helping my own daughter but also realizing that enabling her entitled behavior would only make things worse. Mark later told me that he had confronted Stan about his role in the situation and even reminded him that as the head of the family business, he had the power to fire Stan if he didn't stop blaming others for Chloe's behavior. As much as I didn't like Stan's girlfriend, I was relieved that she was providing Chloe with some emotional support during this time. Mark also tried to mend his relationship with Chloe by inviting her to lunch, hoping to explain where things had gone wrong. However, during their conversation, Chloe fabricated a story, claiming that I had abused her when she asked me for money and refused to attend her graduation. Mark, suspicious, later asked me for the truth, and I showed him the messages proving that I was never invited to the ceremony. Mark, deeply disappointed in Chloe's deceitfulness, decided to cut off all ties with her until she could take responsibility for her actions. Chloe, in response, escalated things even further. She posted videos on TikTok accusing me of being a toxic mother and twisting past events to paint herself as the victim. She even implied inappropriate things about my relationship with Mark. I found out about these videos through a colleague, as I wasn't active on social media. When I saw the content, I was appalled and sent a cease and desist email to Chloe, Stan, and his girlfriend, threatening legal action for defamation if the videos weren't taken down. Although the videos initially didn't get much traction, one went viral within our community, and I started receiving hateful messages. In response, I posted my side of the story online, with proof, and the narrative quickly shifted in my favor. Chloe, now facing backlash, has cut off contact with me entirely. I am heartbroken but also resolute in my decision not to support her financially until she learns to take responsibility for her actions. This situation has left me questioning everything. I don't want to abandon my daughter, but I also can't keep enabling her behavior. I feel torn between being a mother and standing my ground, knowing that she needs to learn some tough lessons in life.